Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast Special Edition Series, where I picked out every men's college basketball tournament will play out as I go round by round and pick winners based on my projections. Next up, the Big Ten. And before I do my predictions on how this tournament will play out, I'm going to look back on my preseason predictions and compare them to how the league actually played out. In first place, I had Michigan State. They ended up coming in second, but probably should have came in first. Second, I had Maryland. They ended up coming in third. Third, I had Ohio State. They came in seventh. Fourth, I had Purdue. They ended up being bad. They came in 10th. Fifth, Indiana. And they ended up coming in 11th. Sixth, I had Wisconsin. They ended up coming in first. Seventh, Illinois. I had them in seventh. They came in fourth. Eighth, Michigan. And they came in ninth. Ninth I had Minnesota. They ended up coming in 12th. 10th I had Iowa. They ended up coming in 5th. 11th I had Rutgers. They came in 8th. 12th I had Penn State. They ended up coming in 6th. 13th I had Nebraska. They came in last. And then 14th I had Northwestern. They came in 13th. So I got the bottom two right, the top two of the top three right, and in the middle was just a cluster. So without further ado, I'm going to do my predictions for this conference tournament, which will be held at Bankers Life Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana. So tonight, 7 o'clock, Big Ten Network, 13-seeded Northwestern versus 12-seeded Minnesota. Northwestern 8-22 on the year, 3-17 in conference play. Minnesota 14-16 on the year, 8-12 in conference play. The pick is Minnesota. I have them projected as an 8-point favorite. 14-seeded Nebraska versus 11-seeded Indiana, 9:30 Big Ten Network. 6 and 8:30 are the game times. I thought this was Central Time, but they're really in Eastern Time, so that's my bad there. Nebraska, 7-24 on the year, 2-18 in conference play. Indiana, 19-12 on the year, 9-11 in conference play. The pick is Indiana. I have them projected as a 13-point favorite. Second round tomorrow, March 12th. 9-seeded Michigan versus 8-seeded Rutgers. 12 o'clock on the Big Ten Network. Michigan, 19-12 on the year, 10-10 in conference play. Michigan, 20-11 on the year, 11-9 in conference play. The pick is Rutgers, and I have them projected as a 1.5-point favorite. 12-seeded Minnesota versus 5-seeded Iowa, 2:30 Big Ten Network. Tomorrow, Iowa, 20-11 on the year, 11-9 in conference play. The pick is Iowa. I have them projected as a 5.5-point favorite. 6:30 Big Ten Network tomorrow night, 10-seeded Purdue versus 7-seeded Ohio State. Purdue, 16-15 on the year, 9-11 in conference play. Ohio State, 21-10 on the year, 11-9 in conference play. The pick, Ohio State, and I have them projected as a 4.5-point favorite. 11-seeded Indiana versus 6-seeded Penn State, 9 o'clock Big Ten Network tomorrow night. Penn State, 21-10 on the year, 11-9 in conference play. The pick is Penn State, and I have them projected as a 3-point favorite. Quarterfinals Friday, March 13th, 12 o'clock, Big Ten Network. 8-seeded Rutgers versus 1-seeded Wisconsin. Wisconsin 21-10 on the year, 14-6 in conference play. The pick is Wisconsin. I have them projected as a 2.5-point favorite. 5-seeded Iowa versus 4-seeded Illinois, 2:30 Big Ten Network on Friday, March 13th. Illinois 21-10 on the year, 13-7 in conference play. The pick is Illinois. I have them projected as a 2.5-point favorite. 7-seeded Ohio State versus 2-seeded Michigan State, 6 o'clock Big Ten Network on Friday night. Michigan State, 22-9 on the year, 14-6 in conference play. The pick, Michigan State, and I have them projected as a 3.5-point favorite. 6-seeded Penn State versus 3-seeded Maryland, 9 o'clock on the Big Ten Network on Friday night. Maryland, 24-7 on the year, 14-6 in conference play. The pick, Maryland, and I have them projected as a 4.5-point favorite. Semifinals Saturday, March 14th, 1 o'clock on CBS. You got 4-seeded Illinois versus 1-seeded Wisconsin. Wisconsin, they've had a really good season. Good finish to the year despite the loss of Kobe King. Illinois has been a pleasantly surprising good team. Brad Underwood is a really good coach. But I like the Badgers here to advance. So the pick here is Wisconsin, and I have them projected as a 1-point favorite. In the other semifinal matchup, 3-seeded Maryland versus 2-seeded Michigan State. This feels like the de facto title game. I think these two teams are legit the best two teams in this conference, and I think they proved it throughout the season. This may surprise some folks, despite how loaded Michigan State is, led by Cassius Winston. I really think that Maryland is the team here to look out for, and I think they're going to pull off this, what people would consider a mild upset here, led by Jalen Smith and Anthony Cohen. So, give me the Terps here. I have them projected actually as a 1-point favorite. And then in the championship game, you have 3-seeded Maryland versus 1-seeded Wisconsin. 3:30 CBS. Jim Nantz, Bill Raftery will be on the call. Should be a great game. I expect it to be very competitive. Two good coaches that I think are underappreciated at their schools in Greg Gard and in Mark Turgeon. And I think Turgeon's team will come out on top, led by Anthony Cohen and Jalen Smith, despite how well Wisconsin's come together after the loss of Kobe King. So the pick is Maryland, as I have them projected here as a 1.5-point favorite. Next up, the AAC.